Billy Abbott finds himself in a dangerous situation as a devious plot unfolds behind the scenes, threatening to sabotage the fresh start he's worked so hard for. Billy, known for his ambition and drive, is at a pivotal moment in his life. He's on the verge of reclaiming what he's lost, hoping for a future filled with success and stability. But, as always, his determination makes him vulnerable. Aristotle Dumas, a shadowy figure lurking in the background, is orchestrating a web of deceit that will threaten everything Billy is building. At this point, Aristotle remains unseen, his face still unknown to the world, but his intentions are clear. He plans to destroy Billy's hard-won peace. Fans have watched Billy exude confidence, his actions seemingly backed by a newfound sense of self-assurance. However, there's something far darker afoot. Beneath the surface of Billy's recent successes lies the menacing reality of an insidious plot that could change everything for him. Victor Newman sets a trap for Billy, one that promises to be as dangerous as it is cunning. Victor, always calculating and always ahead of the game, knows the stakes. His mind is already working overtime, constructing a plan that will ensnare Billy in a way that will ultimately serve his own interests. This trap isn't just about financial gain, it's about power. And Victor Newman has always thrived in the art of control. This time, however, his target isn't just another rival, it's Billy Boy Abbott, a man who represents more than just business competition. To Victor, Billy is a symbol of what's been lost and what's at stake in the ongoing battle for power in Genoa City. Victor's plan to set a trap is elaborate and clever, and while he's the one pulling the strings, he has an unexpected ally in the form of Michael Baldwin, who may be forced to lend a hand once again. Michael's involvement in Victor's schemes has always been more than a little uncomfortable, but his loyalty to Victor, complicated as it may be, could drag him into a dangerous game once more. A web of deceit and legal threats is set to unfold, and Billy's ambitions may very well be his downfall. Billy's sharp mind and ambition have always been his greatest assets. He has an almost reckless willingness to chase his dreams, to take the risks that others wouldn't. But as he steps into the crosshairs of Victor's plan, Billy may find himself cornered in ways he never anticipated. In a move that may seem almost too well executed, Victor will manipulate circumstances to create a legal trap that will put Abbott Communications at serious risk, jeopardizing everything Billy's worked for. The question now is whether Billy will be able to see the trap before it's too late or if his ambition will blind him to the dangers ahead. Enter Aristotle Dumas, the man who could offer Billy a lifeline, at a dangerous price. Aristotle Dumas, a man with ties to powerful forces in Genoa City, reaches out to Billy with a tempting proposition. A deal that could change the entire course of Billy's future. The offer is clear. Billy has the chance to take control of Chancellor once again, his old stomping grounds, a place he lost in the bitterest of ways. The catch? Everything hinges on whether Billy can play his cards right, navigate the treacherous waters ahead, and, more importantly, remain on the right side of Aristotle's plans. The allure of regaining Chancellor's power is intoxicating, and for Billy, the temptation is almost impossible to resist. But he must tread carefully, for the consequences of failure are far more dire than he realizes. Billy's desire for control is something he's longed for, but Victor's interference makes this power struggle even more complicated. He wants to regain what was once his, but with every step he takes towards his goal, he finds himself entangled in a web of lies, deceit, and manipulation. Victor learns of Aristotle's move, setting the stage for a confrontation between two ruthless forces. Victor Newman may not have all the details, but he is a man of instinct, a man who has spent decades in the business of reading people and situations. Thanks to Michael's inside information, Victor is aware of Aristotle's approach to Billy. Though the specifics of the plan remain a mystery, Victor can connect the dots and see the bigger picture unfolding before him. Billy's continued resentment over losing Chancellor has not gone unnoticed, and Victor is well aware that this lingering bitterness could be used against him. This is where Victor excels, in using the very emotions that drive people to his advantage. He knows Billy, perhaps better than anyone else. And he knows how to push his buttons, how to manipulate him into making a move that will ultimately serve Victor's needs. Victor sees Billy as a pawn in a much larger game, one where the stakes are always high, and the consequences of failure are devastating. As Billy's ambition pulls him further into Aristotle's orbit, the lines between ally and adversary become blurred. Victor's manipulation of Michael, his constant surveillance of Billy, and his long-held vendetta against the Abbott family will converge, setting the stage for an all-out battle for control. The final confrontation between Victor, Billy, and Aristotle looms ever closer. The tension will build as these three formidable players, Victor, Billy, and Aristotle, prepare to face off. The stakes couldn't be higher. Billy is on the brink of reclaiming his former power, but at what cost? Aristotle's true intentions remain hidden in the shadows, and Victor's web of manipulation is tightening around everyone involved. The question remains, who will emerge victorious, and who will be left standing when the dust settles? In the end, Billy Abbott's ambitious nature may prove to be both his greatest strength and his ultimate downfall. The question that remains is whether he can outsmart the players around him or if he will fall victim to the devious plans that threaten to tear everything he holds dear apart. As the storm clouds of deception gather over Genoa City, Billy Abbott finds himself at the heart of a dangerous game. The ever-watchful Victor Newman, with his calculated moves, is once again ready to tear apart the very foundation of Billy's plan. The stakes are higher than ever, and the battleground is set for a showdown that will test the limits of their wit and willpower. Billy, aware of Victor's tendency to play his cards close to his chest, is on edge. His instincts scream that something isn't right. Victor's moves are too smooth, too calculated, and Billy knows from experience that the worst is often hidden behind a polished facade. But Billy is no fool. He's been down this road before, and he won't be caught off guard again. He starts to piece together the puzzle, connecting the dots of Victor's actions. Something is off, and Billy senses an impending move that could jeopardize everything he's worked for. As he continues to dig deeper, Billy begins to formulate a counter-strategy. He's not going to sit idly by and let Victor steamroll him. With every step he takes, Billy becomes more determined to take control of the situation. The key to winning this battle isn't just outsmarting Victor, it's staying one step ahead. Billy realizes that Victor's next move could be his biggest yet, and he must act fast before it's too late. The tension builds as Victor's plan unfolds. Billy, in his attempt to uncover the truth, finds himself walking a fine line. In a moment of vulnerability, he might accidentally spill crucial information to Victor. The consequences are dire. If Victor learns even the slightest detail about Billy's true intentions, it could mean the end of Billy's scheme to take over the Prime Minister's office, or worse, the destruction of his entire partnership with Aristotle Dumas. But the true trap lies in Victor's clever manipulation. It's not just Billy he's after. Victor's real goal is to flush out Aristotle from the shadows. Aristotle Dumas, a key player in Billy's plans, has remained hidden, carefully guarding his moves. Billy has counted on Aristotle to be his silent partner, the one who can help him accomplish his goals in the political arena. But Victor, ever the strategist, knows that Aristotle's presence is a thorn in his side. With a subtle but deadly maneuver, Victor sets a trap that will either expose Aristotle or drive him back into hiding. If the trap succeeds, Aristotle's fear of being exposed could derail Billy's entire operation. Billy's heart sinks as he realizes the gravity of the situation. If Aristotle is frightened into retreating, the entire foundation of Billy's plan will crumble. The possibility of losing Aristotle, the silent but crucial ally, threatens everything Billy has built. It would be a devastating blow, one that Billy cannot afford to let happen. In a moment of desperation, Billy must decide whether to trust Aristotle's loyalty or whether he's been a pawn in Victor's game all along. He can't afford to let Aristotle slip through his fingers. Every move from here on out is a risk, and Billy knows that even the smallest misstep could cost him everything. Meanwhile, Victor and his right-hand man, Michael Baldwin, are watching closely, anticipating Billy's next move. They know that the slightest crack in Billy's armor could expose him, and they're prepared to exploit any weakness. The tension between the two men rises as they edge closer to their ultimate goal. It's a battle of wits, with the future of Genoa City at stake. Billy's mind races as he considers his options. He can't allow Victor's trap to succeed. He has to stay calm, stay focused, and stay ahead of the game. But with every passing second, the pressure builds, and the stakes get higher. Billy knows that if he fails now, it won't just be the end of his political aspirations, it could mean the end of everything he's worked for. As the trap closes in on him, Billy's thoughts turn to Aristotle. Has he been a pawn in Victor's hands all along? Or can he count on Aristotle to stand by him when it matters most? The answers lie just beyond reach, and the clock is ticking. In a dramatic twist, Billy realizes that his next move must be decisive. He can't wait for the perfect moment, he must act now. The final confrontation between Billy and Victor is about to begin, and only one of them will emerge victorious. With every calculated step, Billy faces the ultimate challenge, to outwit the master manipulator that is Victor Newman, or watches his plans come crashing down. The battle for control of Genoa City is on, and neither side is willing to back down. Will Billy's instincts be enough to outsmart Victor, or will the Newman patriarch prove once again that he's the king of the game? Only time will tell. The battle between Billy and Victor will bring forth a tense and dramatic conflict. Billy, sharp and alert, may quickly realize what is happening and successfully counter Victor's next move. If Billy feels something is off, he may try to outwit Victor, provided he discovers it in time. However, there is also the possibility that Victor's plan might succeed, leaving Billy disoriented. In the process, Billy could inadvertently reveal information to Victor that threatens his takeover of the Prime Minister's office or even jeopardizes his entire partnership with Aristotle Dumas. Moreover, Victor's trap for Billy could be a strategy to draw Aristotle out of hiding, which would create further complications for Billy if Aristotle is scared and pulls back. Aristotle Dumas is a key player in Billy's plan, and it would be disastrous if Victor's manipulation makes Aristotle retreat, ruining the agreement Billy has with him. Billy might think that Aristotle is a silent partner, or he might even consider working with him openly once Aristotle reveals himself. But if Victor's trap succeeds, as he and Michael Baldwin anticipate, it could shatter Billy's plan and force Aristotle to retreat once again. That would be the last straw for Billy, the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back. Genoa City has never been a stranger to power struggles, but what is unfolding between Billy Abbott and Victor Newman is nothing short of a high-stakes war. Billy has fought tooth and nail to establish his position, relying on his calculated strategies and bold partnerships, with one critical player in his corner, Aristotle Dumas. However, Victor's cunning mind is always several steps ahead, and he has devised a masterful trap to not only disrupt Billy's plans but also shake the very foundation of his alliance with Aristotle. Victor's Machiavellian trap. Victor Newman's reputation as a master manipulator is well earned. His every move is calculated, and he's always looking for opportunities to advance his own agenda. This time, however, his trap is far more devious. At the heart of his strategy is Aristotle Dumas, the elusive figure who has become an integral part of Billy's plan. Aristotle, with his vast resources and silent influence, has been a key asset in Billy's push to gain power. But, as Victor sees it, Aristotle is a wild card, an unpredictable factor that could ruin his designs. The trap Victor has set is subtle yet incredibly dangerous. By manipulating the circumstances around Billy and forcing him into a corner, Victor plans to lure Aristotle out of hiding. The question is, what will happen if Aristotle is shaken by Victor's tactics and decides to retreat? The consequences could be disastrous for Billy. Losing Aristotle, who is so pivotal to his ambitions, would mean the collapse of everything Billy has worked for. Victor knows this, and he is betting that fear will cause Aristotle to fall back into the shadows, leaving Billy vulnerable. Victor's plan is built on a delicate balance. If it works, it will break the partnership between Billy and Aristotle, leaving Billy scrambling to salvage what's left of his strategy. And if Billy loses his silent partner, it will be the ultimate betrayal, not just from Victor, but from the very foundation of his plan. It is a test of Billy's strength and his ability to stay one step ahead in a game that could cost him everything. Billy's suspicion and counterattack. Billy Abbott, ever the astute strategist, is not one to be easily fooled. He senses that something is wrong. As the trap begins to take shape, Billy becomes more alert, trying to piece together the subtle shifts in the game. His instincts scream that Victor is up to something, but Billy doesn't yet have the full picture. If he doesn't act quickly, he risks walking right into Victor's web. Billy knows that the key to this battle lies in staying ahead of Victor's next move. He begins to dig deeper, trying to uncover the truth about what Victor is planning. Billy realizes that Victor's moves are designed to create chaos, to throw him off balance. The question becomes: can Billy outsmart Victor before the trap is sprung? Billy has always been clever, but this time, the stakes are higher than ever. As the tension builds, Billy faces a difficult choice. If he feels something is off, he could attempt to outwit Victor, but it's a delicate balance. If Billy doesn't act swiftly enough, he risks making a mistake that could cost him the support of Aristotle and derail his entire plan. The danger is real, and Billy knows that any misstep could lead to his downfall. The accidental revelation: in the midst of his efforts to stay one step ahead, Billy could inadvertently reveal something to Victor that puts everything in jeopardy. This is a constant risk for Billy. His plans are always in motion, and sometimes the smallest slip can have far-reaching consequences. The trap Victor has set relies on exploiting any weakness or moment of vulnerability Billy may have. If Billy accidentally gives away critical information, it could ruin his carefully crafted strategy. Victor, ever the opportunist, will seize on any piece of information Billy gives him. This could mean the end of Billy's campaign to take over the Prime Minister's office or, worse, the destruction of his relationship with Aristotle. If Victor learns too much, it could unravel everything Billy has been working toward, and Billy knows that he must be extra cautious. The game is not just about staying ahead of Victor, it's about guarding the most important secrets that could make or break his future. The trap unfolds. Aristotle's fear: Victor's true goal, however, is not just to defeat Billy, it's to make Aristotle a non-factor. If Victor can create enough chaos and uncertainty, he knows that Aristotle will retreat. The trap has been set, and now it's a waiting game. Aristotle's very presence is a threat to Victor, and he will do whatever it takes to remove him from the equation. If Aristotle feels threatened, he may disappear again, taking away the vital partnership that Billy needs. Billy's reliance on Aristotle is undeniable. The two men have a fragile, yet critical, partnership. Aristotle has been a silent partner, someone who has remained in the shadows, providing the necessary resources to push Billy's plans forward. But the longer Aristotle stays hidden, the more vulnerable Billy becomes. If Aristotle is scared into hiding, the entire structure of Billy's plan will come crumbling down. Without Aristotle, Billy's dreams of political power are dashed, and he'll be left scrambling for a new strategy. Billy's crisis of trust: Billy faces a crisis of trust. He needs Aristotle, but can he count on him? The question weighs heavily on him as he watches the trap Victor has set unfold. Can he trust that Aristotle will stay the course, or has Victor manipulated him into retreating once again? Billy's mind races as he contemplates the consequences of losing Aristotle. It would be more than just a betrayal, it would be the end of his vision, the collapse of his ambitions. If Aristotle walks away, Billy is left with nothing. The emotional toll is evident. Billy feels the weight of the situation bearing down on him. He has worked too hard to let it all fall apart now, but the odds are stacking against him. His thoughts are consumed with the fear that he might lose the one ally who has been critical to his success. Every move from this point on is a gamble, and Billy knows that one wrong move could bring everything crashing down. The final showdown: as the tension builds, the stage is set for a final showdown between Billy and Victor. With both men playing their cards carefully, the stakes are higher than ever. Billy knows that Victor's manipulation could destroy everything he has built, but he's not willing to back down. The battle is far from over, and Billy is determined to fight for his future, no matter the cost. The emotional intensity of the situation is palpable. Billy's confidence is shaken, but his resolve is stronger than ever. He will not let Victor win, not without a fight. The final moments of this battle will be a test of strength, intellect, and sheer willpower. Who will come out on top? Will Billy's quick thinking save his plan, or will Victor's trap break him for good? Only time will tell. As the trap is sprung and the final pieces fall into place, Billy and Victor's war for power reaches its peak. The consequences of their actions will reverberate throughout Genoa City, and nothing will ever be the same again.